Welcome to Realtor Therapy with Steph and Kel.
We're your hosts, Stephanie Campbell and Kelly Dugan, top producing agents with the Gold Group at Properties Christie's International.
With over $200 million in sales, we've seen it all. The wins, the losses, and the downright insane moments that come with being a realtor.
This podcast is your no BS, unfiltered look into the world of real estate.
Whether you're an agent needing a therapy session or looking to level up your game, we've got real stories, real problems, and real talk.
And hey, if you're a client, stick around. You might just pick up a few trade secrets.
Let's get into it. Welcome.
Hey guys.
Welcome to Realtor Therapy.
You don't realize this is take 2 of this.
Yeah. Stephanie's storage is full. We don't have a camera. So. We record on our phones like we're the Flintstones. And yeah.
I am like anti-camera because I think the technology changes so much. Like, no?
I just feel like why not have a camera just to store all of them and call it a day?
But that won't be how we'll get. Anyway, this discussion is not for the public. Okay.
Yes. Yeah. We came on here to chat. Well, we did do like a quick little intro in the other one, just kind of explaining
who we are. I'm Stefanie Campbell.
I'm Kelly Dugan.
We are on the Gold Group. We are, and that's sometimes confusing. People are like, what's the Gold Group? What's At Properties? What's Christie's International? Just so you can understand, we have a team. The team is called the Gold Group. It's like a little smaller family inside of a bigger brokerage. That's how it basically operates. Yeah.
And then we go like even smaller, and then it's Realtor Therapy because it's like At Properties umbrella, and then like the Gold Group little mini umbrella, and then like there's me and you in the south suburbs.
Yeah. And then At Properties Christie's International is our brokerage. That's where our license is held. And I say At Properties Christie's International because At Properties bought Christie's International a few years ago. And we actually we got acquired by Compass.
Yeah.
So we're like all one big happy family now, but our owners are still our owners, and
yeah,
we love it.
And then this is our little podcast that started as Realtor Talk, and initially we wanted to, do like tips and tricks for buyers and sellers, and just almost have it be like an educational thing, which I think it still kind of is. But what we really learned with time is that this podcast is kind of geared towards realtors because chances are if you're buying and selling with us, it's like a very short period of time. And then once you're closed, you could give a, less about all of this, mumble jumble that we have. But realtors, aka Stephanie Woodward, she's out of our office and she said she listens to every episode. So shout out to Stephanie. But this is us just kind of really like peeling the curtain back and being honest about the day-to-day things and the crazy people that we have to deal with, and just like the ridicule. Like people really do hate realtors.
It's amazing. I don't want to say that like it's shocking is what I want to say, because we like just talk to our families. We work so hard and 24/7 and care so much, and it's amazing how much dislike and distrust there is for our profession.
Well, and
it's
I think
crazy.
Well, me and you can complain all day long about how much we can't stand a lot of realtors, truly. So it's like I think it's that big, I should say big percentage, because I think there's only a small percentage of agents who actually take this seriously and do this as a full-time job. I think it's that other heftier percentage that like just gets licensed, because the schooling is not the hardest thing to do, but actually succeeding after you pass your test and everything like that is a whole different ballgame. So I think a lot of the general public is basing their opinions off of. This is why you shouldn't have your phone during these podcasts, by the way.
My client's locked out of their house. Like it's an emergency. I'm listening. I'm totally listening.
What was the last sentence I just said?
There's a lot of reasons why the people don't like
She has no idea. So typically we record on Stephanie's phone, but she had no storage, so we're on my phone.
So wait a minute, and Kelly's totally
such
thinking
a normal thing for me to be talking and Stephanie lights on, no one home.
Okay, first of all, now are you not happy that we record on my phone?
No, I think that if we would have recorded on your phone, that would have never happened. So
No, I'm saying, aren't you happy that we typically do?
oh yes, because you can't be
I can't
trusted.
have my phone. I know,
Yeah,
she's
no.
right. I cannot be trusted. I cannot. I mean, I can be trusted as a realtor, but not to not be on my phone.
Yeah, no. Okay, so did you do what you had to do?
I did. I had to
Okay.
send them a 1-day code. They're literally locked out.
Oh, okay. Well, good thing that you didn't record then, or else they'd be
Right?
locked out for another 20 minutes.
That's what I'm saying. Okay. Emergencies happen. And I'm trying to get away from using my Apple Watch so much.
Oh my
'Cause I-
gosh. Wow. Did I motivate you to do that?
You might have. Is it you that said that to me?
Yes. I disconnected it from my phone. So it's just simply a watch and I use it for when I go to the gym.
Okay. So I'm trying.
I don't like it on when it's connected to everything else. Like not everything has to be connected.
Not that. Like it's for health reasons. Like I'm hearing a lot of like negative. I'm a little bit crunchy. Okay. This is like a total
Oh,
off-topic
like,
thing.
okay.
For health. Like I've heard all these bad things about having it on 24/7 all the time. So I'm trying to take a little break. I'm actually wearing like a normal watch. But the hard thing is like that's why I didn't care if my phone was recording us, because like I had my watch on me and I have a phone line hooked up to my watch.
Right. Yeah,
So-
no, I haven't had my watch hooked up to my phone in so long. And honestly, I don't really wear my Apple Watch unless I'm at the gym. Because I just didn't like
But
when my wrist would vibrate. Like my phone's already vibrating and like I'll get to it and it doesn't need to vibrate on my wrist.
See, I loved it because like I didn't like, let's say you're at the gym or in the pool on vacation or anything, like I didn't have to worry if my phone was next to me because because of that line I had on my phone.
I just put my phone on loud when I'm away from it. I hear it.
Really?
I hear it in the distance. Yeah.
Okay, well I guess no, I lived with it on vibrate.
But I have heard that wearing it is bad for you, like health wise, like, you know, cancer and like that kind of thing. Like it
Probably,
just,
yeah.
people say that about headphones too, like you said.
Yeah, the
and
AirPods. I'm gonna go back to wires.
I have sleep headphones that I put on at night.
What?
Yes, Corey snores really bad. So sometimes if I
Like these kind of headphones?
no,
or like actual?
they're like it's a very like cozy like headband almost, and it has just like little bitty mini speakers in it. And sometimes I'll like put on music, a podcast, like something, and I just like it's been weighing on me because I've heard how bad it is, and I'm sleeping with these things in.
Okay, that's terrifying.
I know.
They're wireless?
They are wireless.
Yeah, I'm scared for you.
But why is the wire better?
Your brain is very valuable. I don't know. We'll have to look that up. That's a different topic on a different day.
Yeah,
Should
actually
we have like
today,
a health expert on here?
Today we're talking about why for sale by owners don't work.
Yeah, I mean, there's actually a lot of yeah. I'll try to stick to that topic, but there's a lot of venting topics floating around in my brain.
All right, let's start with one.
Okay. So circling back to the point of people just don't like us. And it's funny. I think it's also generational. I think the older generation
Hates us more.
Yeah. I think some real shady shit went down in like the 80s and 90s. And people, especially,
I think it was just like the wild, wild west. Maybe no one, like realtors weren't taken as seriously, whereas now we've like elevated.
Maybe the ethics weren't. Who knows?
Yeah.
But I think it was pretty scary. So I was with 2 GCs this weekend, and not like people I'm hiring. My client is hiring them to redo their home. So we're there. They're measuring stuff, this, that, and the other. And it's funny. On 2 separate occasions, both of them expressed to me how negatively they feel about realtors.
Like verbatim, what did they say?
So one of them goes, I can't stand realtors. Like we'll be at a closing and I'm looking at the settlement statement and they're getting paid blah, blah, blah more than I'm getting paid. And, all they did is open the door and, what do they do? They don't do anything. Like that's literally how they're talking. And I was like, oh my God. I was like, I would love for you to shadow me. I would love
Seriously
for you to shadow me because
take my phone for the day. Actually,
yes,
just take my phone for the day.
Yes, because again, back in the day, I have no idea what went on, but I'm sure they probably worked hard too, and I'm sure there's probably some shadesters as well. But anyway, they're going on, and I'm trying to tell them like,
why don't you become a realtor then? Like that's honestly going to start being like my response. Like if you think that we make the easiest money, why don't you become a realtor, please?
Yeah. That's really funny because I was looking for this stat because we used to say, and I know the number is a lot higher now, but something that is for sure is the fail rate in this industry is massive.
Oh gosh, yeah,
massive. Most people that get licensed do not succeed or close any volume. And this is a stat from, if anybody, for realtors listening, Jared James, what is his, I think his Instagram handle is Jared James today. He is such a good resource for realtors. I was telling Kelly today, I cannot believe you don't follow him.
I mean, now that you're pulling him up, I guess I've seen some of his stuff, but like if you would have said who's Jared,
reels.
Yeah, Jared James, I would have been like, I don't know.
You've seen his reels. Like, he's so popular for realtors. I feel like he's like
he's a big advocate. Our
national cheerleader. Like, that's what I want to say. But he posted this stat, 74%. This is huge. 74% of all realtors sold 0 homes in 2024.
There should be there should be a rule that you have to at least maybe it gives some grace. Like year 1 and year 2, fine, you have a pass. But like if you're a third year into being a realtor and you don't sell at least 5 homes, I feel like that should be a problem.
You shouldn't be able to keep your license.
Yeah,
I totally agree. There should be some. I mean, I guess what does it matter? Who cares if they all have their license and don't sell anything? But it's annoying when somebody sells like.
Well, because then we're put in this really huge pool of like when there's 74% of them are useless, and then we kind of naturally get that stereotype is what I don't like.
Okay, that's a good point. 2% sold between 11 and 20 homes. 0.14% sold 45 or more. And then he goes on to say, moral of the story, if you've worked with a realtor who did a great job and is still selling real estate when you get ready to buy or sell again, use them. Switching agents means you have a 98% chance of working with someone that statistically couldn't even sell a house per month when your original agent has defied the odds just by still being around.
Boom.
Wow. Why would you do that? Reward the grind.
For sure.
That is such, like, again, and if any realtors listening, go follow him when you're having a bad day. Read through all of his things and posts, and he does a podcast too. I'm sure I should probably start listening to that podcast. But
yeah, that's really, a good one. I'll have to listen to that.
Really great. And circling back to these 2 GCs that were like talking to me about all these things, and like, again, they were even. The other one kind of cornered me later and was asking me about commissions and the new structure. And he's like, I thought the new rules were going to lower commissions.
Why are they so bitter? Like, who hurt them?
I don't.
You should have said that. Who hurt you? I don't
know. And I was, again, I took no offense to it because they were being, I looked at them as like, you know, they're
uneducated and old.
Well, they're nice guys. I don't want to say that. I actually genuinely like these 2 guys. My point is that it's just their generation. Mm-hmm. It's just their generation, and was so crazy. And anyway, they're kind of going on and on about this, and I'm like, we literally have to get paid what we do, and statistically,
I would get another job
because nobody else. The fail rate is so high because nobody else would do this job unless we actually made decent money to do it, because it's so
mental and emotional. Yes, and I think that's what's hard
job
for people to grasp, is because you really don't understand the emotional warfare until you're in it. Okay, you really don't. So I guess from just to play devil's advocate and put myself in someone else's shoes, I guess from the outside looking in, sure, you can be like, what do you like? But like, you just don't get it until
you don't get it.
You do
so
it.
We welcome, and that's why so many people try. It's so hard to explain how difficult this job is.
Yeah, there's a lot you didn't tell me.
I'm sorry. But it's difficult to explain. So
I know
you can't explain it to people until they've actually done it.
No,
it's so crazy. And so
so that's what, like, I mean, there's been, you know how much time is wasted. I mean, you do things every single day, and you could be going on showings with clients for months, and like up until you bring that to the closing table, that's volunteer work in my eyes. Like you literally are volunteering until.
That reminds me. Okay, go ahead.
No, I'm just saying that I actually felt that way when I was, which that's a story I can tell, that I've kind of fired my first clients ever.
That's right.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I love them. It was it wasn't a mutual breakup, actually.
It wasn't, don't lie.
I had to break up with them. But so long story short, I had these clients that they were living out of state in California, moving back to Chicagoland. And at first, when I had initially met with them via Zoom, we had went over kind of all the areas they were looking in, and they had some broad parameters. Like they were kind of, within 30 minutes and all within like my reach though. And then, so I had to go on a couple video tours for them in FaceTime because they were in California, and then they were coming home once a week, and we were going to see like 8 to 10 properties in a day just because they were only home that day. And as we got further into the process, their parameters just got larger and larger and larger. And where I started having to like rethink like my relationship with them was when it was like an hour and a half from my house. They wanted to, explore this area, but then they were also wanting to explore areas that are 20 minutes from my house. So it was like, okay, we'd have a showing at 10 a.m. here. And then like we'd drive 45 minutes, sometimes an hour to their next one. And this was in, December and January where I'm not as psychotically busy. So I'm like, okay. And, in my thought process is like after like 1 or 2 long days of these showings, we're going to have to hone in and like narrow down on an area. I understand they're out of state. They need to get familiar with different towns, yada, yada, yada. So it was like the third day of like full blown like 8 hour. Like I had to bring a lunch in my car with me because it was like a full 8 hour day of starting, however long away and then inching our way. And it was just, and I was thinking it in my head. I'm like, this is honestly, if this doesn't get to the closing day, like this is volunteer work. And it was just.
And I want to say too, is that people don't understand what's so big about doing 8 hours of showings. For anybody that has a sales job, and obviously tons of people have sales jobs, think about giving an 8 hour long presentation.
Well,
because that's how long you're on.
Yes.
You're making jokes, you're being funny.
Right. And it's also like answering, like, and when we're exploring all these different towns, like I want to know what I'm getting myself into. So that's almost like research and homework on my end to make sure that like I am, answering all their questions and everything like that. And so it was like the 3rd or 4th day of like long days of showings, and thinking that we would kind of hone in on something. They just sent me like 20 more towns after this day of showings. It's like, this is what we also want to be open to. And I was like, you guys, I'm so sorry. I don't think I'm the agent for this. I don't have the bandwidth for this. It's super far out of my wheelhouse. And they were so nice, and I almost like regretted breaking up with them after, because they were like, no, Kelly, we understand.
They were really polite.
They were like, we just hope that whoever you refer us to is going to take as much like care and detail and attention as you did and you put into this. And they were so nice. But I referred them to Frankie, who is, he's on my team and he's phenomenal. Shout out to Frankie.
We love you, Frankie. We want to have you on too, because you're amazing.
Because he lives a little bit closer to the areas that they were looking in, and but yeah, and he's just great. So it worked out for the better. And that was honestly though like the first time I didn't see it through, because when you are working with someone when you see $0 coming in after that, like those long days, and now mind you, after the long days, it was like long video calls, it was constant text messaging, it was emailing. Like,
that's the thing that people don't understand is like those guys that were saying that we just opened the door. Every door that I open is like 2 hours of phone calls and discussion and brainstorming. Oh my gosh,
you could be on a group chat thread all day long, and that's just the norm. Literally, you just don't think about it.
Literally, it is the amount of hours we donate for therapy.
Yes,
we are genuinely therapists.
Yes,
actually, this podcast might have to be changed, this episode, from like about FSBOs to like we're worth it, because like it is.
Well, and it's like, and again, it is those like little things that you don't think about. Our phones are always on us because, clients don't have a sense of, I'm going to text so-and-so. I wonder if they're open right now or if they're working right now. Like, no, they just like text us like they're friends almost, which is fine.
They're worried about something at 10 o'clock at night. It's like the text like, are you up? Can we talk?
My gosh.
But I didn't go out on Saturday night, and just because I was exhausted from the Saturday workday, and I literally was like, thank God I didn't, because this is not an exaggeration, at minimum 3 hours on the phone with my clients, the people that were submitting offers on their place, like, because it was a multiple offer situation. And dissecting and detective work and just which offer should we pick, and then this and that and again, It's people don't.
No, I know. They don't understand, like, yes, like those timely things. And so all of this was just accumulating.
We're consultants.
Yes.
Yeah.
And all of this was just like accumulating. And I just, it was the first time I didn't see it through, because it's so hard when you have so much time invested in something or someone. And oh my gosh, you just are like, no, I am going to close this. Like, I am going to help them find a house, and I am going
I've already
to
given,
like, I've given
3 weeks of my life.
Yes, like blood, sweat, and tears. Like, I've already started this, and I just kick myself. I wish I would have referred it out in the beginning, but I didn't. Whatever. Lesson learned. But it was the first time. Like, and there's been times where I've gotten real close to being like, okay, I don't think I can be their agent anymore. And then all of a sudden we find something and we're under contract, and I'm like, whew, big weight off my shoulders. But this was the first one that I didn't see through, and love them to death. But yeah, I just had to do what was best for me.
At least they were nice.
Yeah, I think they knew they were a little bit of a
much,
handful.
A little much. And speaking of, like, that is a perfect tie-in to what I was going to say. Was
they had 39 towns on their search.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Just to put it in perspective, guys.
39 towns. I can't imagine helping somebody that. How do you narrow?
They
down
said that they wanted the house to drive them, not the area.
Pause.
Yeah.
I have nothing to add to that, because that's insane.
I know. Usually, most people are way more concerned about the location. You know, or at least like a general area, like maybe 6 or 7 towns. But like,
oh yeah, that's
when
normal.
you're traveling, I mean, when you're having like the amount of miles in between showings, and that,
you know what?
like,
I am open to the whole state of Illinois. That's what that says. That's what that literally says. Yeah,
pretty much.
That's because people with the working from home, I guess. All right, I'm going to tell you about, so when I was talking to the 2 GCs, I was like, let me tell you a story here, gentlemen. I then recapped a client that Kelly is well versed in, because she witnessed many phone calls and hours donated to these people.
Terrible human.
It was a terrible experience. 3 years of my life. Let me say that again. 3 years of
and
my
like they
life.
were actively looking. I remember you always hounding, like, hey, anyone have an acreage? And like, you were always.
Yeah. I mean, they took hiatuses every now and again, but there was always, it was an emotional toll client. Okay. So 3 years donated to finding a very specific property for them. They had very specific search criteria.
And in the meantime, what did you do to tee them up for when they found it? You got everything ready to go for their.
Oh yeah. So I knew they weren't contingent on selling their house, but they wanted to obviously sell it right away. So prior to starting our I want to say when we were getting more serious on our search, we took listing photos of their house, which obviously I paid for out of my own pocket. Consulted them on their sale, ran comps, the whole shebang. So prepping them to sell their home, waiting to finally find the right house for their purchase. We finally find the right house after, I'm talking, we've talked to builders, we've went to new construction, we've seen it all. Okay. And we've gone to some distressed properties, like crazy ones. We finally find the one. And it's so much the one that, like, I was out of town and I was getting stalked to get them into the house. It was such a urgent matter. And
oh yeah, because remember
the strict criteria of like, no, I have to see it at Friday at 3:00.
It was a less than 24-hour notice.
Oh, it was.
Stephanie screenshotted me, like, basically asking
the conversation that was had between
the
demanding conversation that was had,
basically asking me if I could do a showing. And this client gave under 24-hour notice. Stephanie gave her like 3 options, but it didn't fall into her half-hour window that she had asked for that was within this 24 hours.
Yeah.
And she was so rude and was like, didn't she say, wow, a whole team of agents and that's as soon as you can do, or something?
She said, I can't believe a whole company of realtors and not one person to show me. And I am very polite to my active clients, and it is the restraint that I keep.
Like, that would have been firing grounds
even
for
when
me.
They are so disrespectful.
I'm just gonna fire everyone.
I hold my tongue. Like, my husband would not believe the amount of control I have when it comes to a client. And I said, well, it's, a property that's not in a very populated area. And you do have options. They're just not on your one window, right? And I mean, I went outside the company. I was actually at the zoo with my children, and a good portion of that time was interrupted with me trying to find an agent to take them. And again,
these are that specific half hour.
These are the personal things that are interrupted by urgent matters from clients. So anyway, I finally find somebody. Again, the conversation and the disrespect was just uncalled for, the way that I was treated. But we ended up agreeing for her. She ended up agreeing to see it another day. She sees it Saturday. I was home Sunday. I take her again to see it on Sunday. Everybody's in love, so excited, blah, blah, blah. Multiple offer sets. So then we have to fight tooth and nail to get the house. Like, we fight like the Dickens to win. And of course, like, I pride myself, as does Kelly, like, when there's a multiple offer situation, if somebody wants to win, I'm gonna win.
Yes,
you know,
and I get so mad when I don't. Even if it's like, nothing, even if it's control. Because like the clients would only go up to X, and I knew, like, I just still is like,
right. And so anyway, we end up winning. Go under contract. The inspection's great. Everybody's happy. Like, tears are shed. You know, oh my gosh, we've all been waiting for this house and da 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 da. Okay. Anyway, so I leave for vacation.
Wait, hold on. So what did it?
Oh, yeah. Yes.
There's one detail you forgot.
You're right. I forgot this detail. The agent in the MLS description writes, sellers something accepting backup offers. Okay. And the buyers see it. The buyer freaks out about it saying,
your buyer,
yeah, accepting backup offers. And I'm like, okay, like, sometimes people do that, you know, this and that. I call the realtor, and he's like, I just did that because, you know, people change their mind, this and that. And I'm like, listen, my guys are so confident on this house.
Oh my God.
They're never going to change their mind. Please, like, take it down. She's very emotional about it. She just doesn't want to lose the house. She loves it so much. Like, I'm giving him the full blown sales pitch. Like, please take it down for my client's mental health, because she's like losing her shit. Okay. Anyway,
I don't mean to laugh. I just know it's coming.
He takes it down. Okay. After we beg, fast forward past, you know, all these things. We're further in the process. I don't know if we were under contract for like 10 days or something like that. First day of my vacation with my family
on a cruise.
Yes. And I get a phone call. They want to cancel the contract. And the reason is because this whole process, which we started 3 years ago, they decided that they no longer want to move. They want to stay in their house. Yeah.
That is a different kind of crazy.
I mean, like, I'm like, I think you're right on the phone. I'm like, I think you're right. Yeah.
I would do anything to just, be done.
I am like the amount of disrespect. Like, I
just literally treated you like you were
garbage.
Yeah.
Garbage.
Like you were at her service only. You're her slave. You are at her beck and call. Like, that is when clients even give me that slightest bit of a vibe, I get so like, then I don't need you either. Like, get out.
And again, like, why would somebody treat somebody like that?
Because they're assholes.
And those are people that treat people like, if you're at a restaurant or this and that, like, you know what I mean?
People are just mean to people who...
Please and thank you goes a long freaking way. And just treat people how you want to be treated.
I feel like it should be a requirement for civilization to at least dedicate, like, I'm going to say 2 years to working with the public and being in that type of situation to where, like, the customer is always right and you have to have customer service and proper etiquette. I think it's crucial to your brain development as a human, because if you've never worked in that type of situation, and you're one of those people that are rude to servers or rude to realtors or just rude, get out of here.
Well, and that's what I want to say. Like, that's the story I told GCs that were like bashing realtors.
Yeah, what did they say?
Because I was like, they're like, oh, that's terrible. I'm like, yeah. So every once in a while, and again, I want to say, like, shout out to these clients that actually hire the GCs. And again, the GCs are nice people. They reminded me of my father-in-law. They're great. They're just old. They're just older guys. That client that
they're just are uneducated on, like, what being a realtor is. I think that's what it boils down to.
That's literally all. And I was there to say, like, look at me, I'm a nice person and I work really hard.
Right.
And the clients that hired them, like, they're freaking awesome, good, lovely humans, like the best freaking clients you could ever ask for. And I literally said to the Jesus, I was like, so every once in a while, we deserve a layup.
Oh,
because otherwise, nobody would do this job if it was a world of those other people.
Right.
Like, there would be no realtors.
And there are such things as layups, 100%, where it's like, okay, that was a great payday, and it was easy and smooth, but like those are few and far in between.
That's what I'm saying. So like, we need those, or else we would not mentally survive. And going back to this, as I want to say, is like, FSBOs will never survive in this world, because we know
what it takes to get to the closing table.
The mental warfare that goes on. You need a consultant. Yep. You cannot do this by yourself, because if you were left to your own devices, no closings would happen.
Right. It would have to be two educated-ish, level-headed, I don't even think education has anything to do with it. No, but just, I guess, common sense, I should say.
Okay.
Like
logical,
not emotional, and selling your home is and buying a home is one of the most emotional things you can do.
And you guys, I'm a realtor sitting here saying, I've said on the podcast before, if I'm selling my home, which, one day, Kelly's going to have to do it for me, because I can't sell my own house. I will be crazy.
She will be a psychopath.
Yeah.
I'm going to be like, get out of here.
I will be so
I'm going to tell the buyers, if you see a blonde girl that's lurking outside, that's the seller.
I will be hysterical.
Right.
So like, I get it, but I'm saying you need a consultant. Mm-hmm. You need a buffer. It's the same reason that people don't, when you go to get divorced, you don't go and divorce your spouse, just the two of you. You need a mediator. You need an attorney. You need all these people, because you can't deal directly with the opposing side. No. It just does not work.
It usually does not work. I have always said that FSBOs, this is what I've said. The only way I see it being like, okay, that makes sense for FSBOs is like, if you truly know somebody, if you're like selling it to someone in your family, or if you're selling it to a close friend, and you guys are all honest and transparent on the same page, and everyone's normal, which is honestly very rare. Sure. That would probably, work out. But like, in the normal sense of like strangers buying your house, or you buying a house from strangers selling it themselves, it's going to blow up and turn into a drama fest. And it takes so long that what I've found is that like, as it's lagging and like as it's waiting for, so-and-so to get back to you, like nothing is on a timely basis at all. Something else pops up, and then those people are like, yes, screw this.
I know. There's so many reasons. I'm going to end with some stats, because we're already at like 32 minutes, which I'm impressed that it's the two of us and we're going on.
And I didn't even want to record today.
I had to literally, and I'm not exaggerating, force Kelly to get on the microphone today.
I was just not feeling it.
I was like, dude,
we all have our days.
We're here.
How many times? In my defense, this is the only time that she's ever pushed back and made me. Usually all it takes for me is to be like, do you want to record next week?
You know why?
And she's
because
like,
we've been so good.
I know.
We've been really good. We have a lot in the chamber, so we're proud of ourselves. Okay. I'm going to end with some stats. This is from the National Association of Realtors. And this is, I believe, for 2024. This is amazing. 90% of sellers sold with the assistance of a real estate agent. Okay. Up from last year, where it was 89%. And only 6% of those were FSBO sales. The share of FSBO sellers was a historic low. For 38% of all FSBO sellers, the main reason to sell FSBO was because they sold to a relative, friend, or neighbor. Back to what you were talking about.
It's the only time it'll work.
So that is a very small percentage that actually succeed.
Yes.
Without a realtor. So anyway, I think I'm going to relabel this podcast and say, we're worth it.
We are worth it.
Because we're battered up here.
And we have so many clients to back it. Like, that is why I do love like client reviews. Like, I just get so truly humbled when I look at, people who take the time that are like, oh my gosh, there's so much that goes into it that people really don't know until they're in the thick of it. And then they are so thankful. Like, I had a client call me the other day, a seller, literally was on the phone with me talking normal. I don't forget what, she called me for. And out of nowhere, she's like, I just want to say I'm so thankful for you. I'm selling her mom's house who's passed. And she's like, she's like, I'm just so thankful for you. Like, you know, you've just been great and just helping me with this. And I'm like, oh my God, this is why I love what I do. Like,
see, that's what I'm saying. Oh my God. And I have another really, like one of my friends, I don't know if they're listening, but she has a really great business plan, like for being consultants for people going into retirement, like going into senior living facilities, which I think is a great idea. But anyway, I feel like thinking about all the people that were in older ages that I've helped recently, that is the biggest heartwarming feeling.
Oh my God.
To like the hand holding that is needed. And I keep thinking to myself when I'm with a client that's up there in age, I'm like, God, if it wasn't, I know how much I care. If it wasn't me at this table and it was some other realtor that was like churning and burning them, like I would feel so bad. Like a lot of these people need the extra hand holding.
So many times I wish to myself that I could have a more transactional mindset, and then I'm like, no, I don't, because it wouldn't make me who I am as an agent. Right. Like I think that truly does set us apart is just how much we care and how much, like, I mean, if you're losing sleep over it, so are we. 100%. Unfortunately.
And my brother-in-law is like Teflon, like Rick Campbell, shout out, because he is like always like, why do you care? Who cares?
I know. I need to be better about it, but I can't.
We're gonna get
the worst is with friends and family. And granted, friends and family, don't you dare think about ever using anyone else because I said this, because it just comes with the job. But like the amount of like, just again, the care and like the stress that like you just want everything to be perfect for them, and you want them to end up in the house that they're imagining and picturing, and it's just all the good feelings at the end. Like when you're helping a family member or a friend, like the pressure is on, but in such a good way.
In such a good way. Like we care. We try really hard. We work really hard. We care. I'm looking
and
at
that's why we're worth it.
I'm looking at
the sign. It there.
Yeah. I'm looking at the sign. Work hard and be nice to people.
Only ones that deserve it, though.
Can we like that? Work hard and be nice to people. Amen. Kelly Dugan.
Amen, Stephanie Campbell. Well, there you have it.
All right. Love you
Tune
guys.
in next time. And don't forget to write us in something.
Oh my gosh. Realtors.
Sorry. Only realtors.
No, not only realtors. Anybody. Anybody and everybody. Ask us questions. Say things, topics, things you want us to talk about. Whatever.
Please.
Okay. That's
all right.
It. Bye.
Bye, guys.
That's a wrap on Realtor Therapy with Steph and Kel.
If you loved what you heard, subscribe, leave a review, and follow us on social media.
Got a wild real estate story or a topic idea?
Drop it anonymously in the form in our show notes. We'd love to hear from you.
Until next time, keep hustling, stay sane, and remember,
we're all in this together.